Hey guys, what we got here is a Spanish Mauser. The Spanish Mauser is very similar to the Boer Mauser, and these were built on 93/95 actions and a date of 1926. But it's still a 93 cock on closing, cock on closing action, not like the 98. This is 757, 7mm Mauser, and it's rough. It's really been ridden hard and put away wet. You got rust pushing up, cracking the wood over there, even over there. So she's gonna take some work to fix up. But anyway, we'll get it done. The bore on the rifle is very good, so it will always make a nice shooter, even if it's not a nice collectible. I managed to get that Spanish Mauser apart. Man, it was a tough one. Anyway, just to show you all the rust. So this is rust that's deposited sticking to the wood, and I haven't chipped it out. I took probably, I don't know, like a handful of rust powder that came out as I worked with it. All of that is just rust that's sitting on there. What I really battled with was to get the bottom metal off. That screw over there, that screw was totally stuck. I couldn't get it out. I thought it was stuck on the thread over there, which was not the case. What it was the screw, which this is what's left of it, and it's just shorter. The head actually rusted to the bottom metal over there, so it rusted itself there and not on the threads. I'd eventually drilled it out, and I got it perfectly right, because that's the bottom end of that screw. So I got it slab bang in the middle to take that out without damaging the bottom metal. That's the screw that I eventually drilled, and once I got the bottom metal off, I turned this out by hand. So it was not stuck on there at all. It was rusted into that hole. So yeah, it's really a rough gun. All of that metal that's missing over there, it's kind of all deposited onto the stock. Same there. Just look at that bad pitting, but there's rust everywhere. I got all the metal out of the wood, and it's rust everywhere. I mean, look at that. That's just caked on rust. Look at this wood. The rust over there just kind of swelled up and broke that out. Don't know how I'm going to fix that. Probably put it in boiling water, try and push it back and let it dry, and then epoxy it up on the inside. So this stock was in a particularly rough condition, and it had what appears to be like dry rot patches where the wood just fell away. Anyway, I filled those in with black epoxy, and when I put a dark walnut stain on here and I do a dark walnut oil on it, that should blend. And I'm just doing this to document to see how it comes out. There was a crack through there which I've fixed. There was some wood missing over there, and same over there. Anyway, we'll see what that comes out like once the stain and the oil is on. Okay, the handguard, it was cracked through there, and this whole thing was curled up. I got a photo of it. Let me see if I can find it. Right over there. So that let me get the light right. There we go. So that handguard, the rust, there was rust underneath, and it actually pushed that wood up. So what it did was it took this wood and it curled up and open, cracked it through there. So I took that and I soaked it in boiling water, and that's the handguard in that orientation, kind of like that. I soaked it in boiling water, and I clamped a 9/16 socket in there, in there with a piece of leather, and then bent that wood back to with a hose clamp back to its original position, or where it should be. Anyway, that closed it up. Then on the inside, I kind of worked a bit of wood out, and I put a piece of aluminum or aluminium gauze in there with epoxy. And again, I used the socket as so I put the gauze in with the epoxy, piece of cardboard, put good old kiwi shoe polish on as a releasing agent on the socket, and then kind of glued it in there. So that crack is repaired. It's got plenty of epoxy, and it's got mesh reinforcement. The back of the handguard, there was a crack through there. The handguard was cracked through that end there. So I cut a groove in with this cutter. Maybe turn around, I can show you that way. Cut a groove in it there, to about that depth. Used a 2.5mm stainless steel little cap screw, bent it, put it in there, epoxy it in, closed up that crack. That's as firm as can be, not going anywhere. There's a crack through there, a lot of wood missing. Filled that in with epoxy. We'll see what it comes out after the stain and after the oil. I cleaned up the stock, and I fixed everything I could on the stock. I cooked off all the metal work, and I had several repairs to do, and got everything that was frozen solid unstuck. Anyway, the stock is rough, but it doesn't look too bad. I put a Danish oil stain on it, as well as a dark walnut stain, just to try and get rid of, or to hide, all the blemishes. And I think the steel work, the metal, cooked off nicely. I mean, just the bluing under the rust just kind of popped out. So everywhere there's some pits. I mean, that was all just caked full of rust. Same there. And the site is quite neat. It's like a roller coaster. That's all freed up and working. On the bottom of the metal, or the bottom of the stock, I mean, you can see the pits around there. There was a chunk of wood missing over there because of the rust, as well as there. I kind of filled it in. There was also a crack down there, which I filled in. There was a piece there, and then also a chunk over there. Anyway, that's that. The top end, this part of the stock, this was broken, and that's a scratch from this, but this was cracked, broken through there, and this peeled up, and there was also a crack through the back here, maybe through there, which I put a strut in. Anyway, looks 100 times better. It's never going to be perfect, and kind of knew that from the word go. Butt plate is all nice and black, shiny. Anyway, guys, hope you find the series of how to get to this point interesting. We talk again. Stay safe.